February 26, 1959, a Soviet search party in the northern Ural Mountains discovered the campsite of a missing expedition group. The group tent has been cut open from the inside. Their boots, heavy winter clothing have all been left behind. Outside, temperature had fallen to nearly minus 30 degrees Celsius, yet the hikers were nowhere to be found. January 23rd, 1959. 1 month before the incident, 10 experienced hikers leave Sverdlovsk for a winter expedition in the northern Ural Mountains. Leading the group is a 23-year-old Igor Tetlov. The group was attempting a Category 3rd ski expedition, one of the most challenging winter routes recognized by Soviet mountaineering system. 5 days into the journey, one member of the group, Yuri Yudin, is forced to turn back after a recurring nerve condition makes continuing impossible. Unable to continue, Yuri Odin says goodbye to the group and begin the journey back towards the home. By February 1st, the group is 1 day behind the schedule, and for an expedition of this difficulty, that is not unusual. What is unusual is where they decided to spend the night. The eastern slope of Kholat Sial rise above the tree line, leaving it exposed to strong winds and freezing temperatures. Yet the group chooses the slope. Why they made that decision remains a matter of debate. Some researchers believe they were training for harsher conditions, while others argue that they do not wanted to lose the altitude before the next stage of the journey. Whatever the reason, it would be the last campfire they ever set up. Sometime during the night, something happened. No one knows exactly what it was. What investigators do know is that hikers cut their way out of the tent from the inside before stepping into the freezing darkness. They left behind their boots, heavy winter clothing, food supplies, and most of the equipment they needed to survive. The footprints lead away from the tent towards the forest. They showed no sign of a desperate escape. What they do show is that not everyone that left the tent was properly dressed for the condition. Some of the footprints were made by people wearing boots, others were made by people wearing only socks. The trail led to a large shadow tree at the edge of the forest. At some point during the night, the group reached the tree and managed to build a small fire. Several branches had been broken high above the ground, suggesting that someone had climbed the tree. But why someone climbs the tree remains unknown. Two members of the group, Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Krevonchenko, are later found beside the fire. Both had died from exposure to the cold. Three other members appear to have left the shattered tree and headed back towards the campsite, but they never make it back. Their bodies are later found scattered across the slope between the forest and the campsite, all facing uphill towards the tent. Investigators believe they were trying to return to the campsite. By this point, five members of the expedition had been found dead. The evidence seemed to tell a tragic but understandable story. 9 people leave their shelter in the middle of a night. Some became separated, others freeze to death while trying to survive. The last four members of the expedition were not found until May. By the time researchers reached the ravine, the ground was still frozen solid. Beneath the snow, the remaining members of the group had built a makeshift shelter. Branches had cut and arranged for insulation. Clothing had been redistributed from those who had already died. Three of the four hikers had suffered far more severe injuries than the first five one. Semyon Zolotaryov had suffered multiple rib fracture and severe internal damage. Nikolay Thibault had sustained a significant skull fracture. The force required to cause that level of trauma was extraordinary. Yet the investigator found very little evidence of it. That contradiction would become one of the most debated aspects of the entire case. There was another detail. Some of the clothing recovered from the ravine later tested positive for radioactive contamination. The trouser worn by Ludmila Dubina was among the items that tested positive. Investigators never established a proper explanation for how the contamination got there. As investigators searched for answers, the official investigation was drawing to close. In 1959, lead investigator Leaf concluded that the hiker had died as the result of what he described as unknown force, and after that, no further explanation was provided. The case files were classified and the area was closed to hikers for several years. Over the decades, numerous theories have been proposed to explain what happened on Detlef Pass. The most widely accepted involves a slab avalanche. According to this theory, a mass of compacted snow either struck the tent or created a threat of a large collapse, promoting the hikers to leave quickly and seek safety further down the slope. Modern research suggests that such a event could explain many of the mysteries surrounding the case, including the injuries suffered by the final four hikers. But not everyone was convinced. Questions surrounding the radioactive contamination, the classified investigation, and reports of unusual lights in the sky have led others to propose alternative explanation. Some points to the military testing in the region. Russia reopened the investigation in 2019 and closed it again in 2020, citing avalanche as the most likely explanation while leaving many questions unsolved. Yuri Yudin, the only member of the group who did not continue the journey, lived to be 70 years old. Until his death in 2013, the pass was later named after Igor Tetlov, who was the leader of expedition.